Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. I'm back on with Lewis, and listen, things are moving in a good direction. We've had a lot of good things going on, Lewis. There's some things that people want to complain about, and we can certainly talk about Garnacho and Xavi Simons and the goalkeeper, Donnarumma. That's a name that's come up. Um, but I always feel like, well, I'm obviously open to having the conversation, but you have to think, do the positives outweigh the negatives? And in this case, our window, our pre-season, basically the lead up to the new campaign, which has been a very short one, it's been a successful one. Like, I don't really know how else to say it. And the fact that I feel like I need to justify it, it's just a bit strange. I don't know why more people aren't thinking like that. But I mean, I don't know your take on it. We haven't really spoken since the last one. So, I mean, what did you take from the two games we played, Leverkusen and Milan, and how are you feeling going into the Premier League campaign?
Bro, I want the season to start tomorrow. I can't wait. Any worries I had about us like starting the season slowly or anything, or like not being sharp, I felt like they all just got thrown away by the end of the first half against Leverkusen. We looked so good, so aggressive, so drilled, all with still having a few players making their first ever starts at the bridge. Liam Delap, Esteval, I think Andres Santos started. If not, I think there was someone else who had their first start as well. I have to check the lineup again. But there was at least 3 players making their first ever start at Stamford Bridge. And we still look so fluid. We still look so good against a Leverkusen side that are about to finish their preseason. If we remember at the start of last preseason, we lost 4-1 to Celtic, who were about to finish theirs. Just as a reference, they bopped us off the park. We were bopping them off the park. I have no weaknesses throughout preseason except losing Colwell to an ACL injury, which is nobody's fault. Shit happens. It's so unfortunate. But even with that in mind, it still don't change my expectations for the season. I expect us to compete on all 4 fronts. And if I think we can compete for the league, I think we can win the league. I think we've got a lot better in terms of understanding the structure. We've improved our depth. We've improved our midfield. We've improved our attack. We've improved our fullbacks. I believe in those areas, we have some of the best in the league. And with the midfield and the fullbacks, I think we've got some of the best depth in the world there. That's how good the level is. The centre-backs, I get, there's going to be question marks. I think Tosin and Chalobah have shown a lot of improvement this season. And like, if Maresca can get the best out of Colwell, I believe he can get the best out of them too as well. And I also think the midfield and the fullbacks do so much work anyway. Not really worried too much about the centre-backs. You're getting suffocated in the midfield, and Cucurella and James will lock you up on the wings. Not really that worried. You have too much you need to get through anyway. So, in terms of negatives, there isn't negatives. Even if we talk about Garnacho and everything. I don't want Garnacho. I don't really rate him right now. But I'm not going to judge a transfer before the transfer's even played. I always say I'll give people a chance when they walk through the door. And it's the same thing as Garnacho. Mourinho brought Didier Drogba, and like when people were talking about the price tag, he said judge him when he leaves the club. Let's at least judge Garnacho after he's played for Chelsea. I'm not going to say it's a failure from the jump. As much as I don't really believe in the player or rate him, I'm going to give it a chance. The same way I think like fans should give everything a chance. See how it cooks for your club. And if he's garbage, we'll call him out for being garbage. But if he's good, then great. Fucking insane revelation. Then just give Maresca whatever the hell he wants. If he wants some random fucking left back from League 2, go get it. I don't give a damn. This will be like the perfect, I don't even say test, because I think he's passed all of his tests at this point. But clearly Maresca's fine with him joining. So
I mean, just on the Garnacho point, I mean, we'll go back to the players we have in a second. It's not a downgrade. Like, however people want to phrase it, underwhelming, not a fan of Garnacho, attitude, whatever it is, he is a better player than Tyreek George. So if you're looking for a direct replacement, Tyreek George is probably going to leave the club anyway.
I was looking at that Tyreek George game against Leverkusen and thinking, do we really need to get Garnacho? I was impressed. I thought some of his deliveries into the box was really good. He seemed a bit more matured in his game as well.
Hey, listen. By the way, I'm not advocating for the sale of Tyreek George, but what
I
we have
know. We
seen
know
is
it's going
that
to happen anyway because he's pure
he's open
profit.
to it. And I
Yeah.
would say this, Lewis: if we don't get the Simmons deal done, if we don't get the Garnacho deal done, then I think it makes sense for George to stay. We need the depth. But I don't see him as a world beater. I don't look at Tyreek George the same way I looked at James or the same way that I looked at Loftus-Cheek or Hudson-Odoi. I just don't feel that same feeling. Maybe that's because we haven't seen him play as much. I don't know. I might be actually wrong, and maybe we've seen him play a little bit more. I couldn't give you the stats off the top of my head, but I remember when Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi were breaking through under Sarri. It wasn't that they were all right and they had good moments. They were arguably the best players on the pitch at times when they were breaking into the team. They had to start. They had to get into the first team. And I just don't feel that way with Tyreek George. And then if we are going to use Garnacho, because he seems
Ruben in particular, Hudson-Odoi was definitely more Europa League level, which I kind of give the same credit to
I
Tyreek
think
George.
they both scored hat tricks in the Europa League, or one of them got two. And those were the games that those were the games that propelled them into starting more. Because Sarri was really, really stringent on it. So he used to basically only play them in the Europa League games. And everyone was going, what the hell are we doing? Not playing, especially Loftus-Cheek. I mean, he was one that we were dying for. And
Cho didn't get a hat trick.
Was it two? He scored two.
Yeah, he might have scored two in a game, but he didn't get a hat trick. I was wondering if I was bugging or not.
So
Loftus-Cheek
would have got a hat trick, and Hudson-Odoi
he got one at group stage.
Two. I remember because I was at both of those games, and this is how you can tell like how new I was to following the club. I was probably one of the only people who wasn't complaining at that time with Sarri ball and everything like that. I was appreciating what I was seeing, man. I enjoyed it. But everyone's got their own preference. But I mean, just going back to Garnacho, like he's got experience in European competitions, played a number of seasons at Man United. Terrible environment that he's involved in at the moment. And I would say worst players as well. I don't think anyone would argue with that. So when you look,
but he was also one of the worst players with one of the most minutes played. I'm sorry, I'd love to hear this, but I tried.
Correct, but under Ten Hag, that was not the case. He was
one of the Ten Hag looked a bit more promising. But
so even then, if you give him a little bit of trust, then there is a player there. Now, whether that player is going to be able to thrive in a better environment, because even under Ten Hag, the environment wasn't great. I'm thinking to myself, better club, better support structure, better players, hopefully better manager, better system. Most of these are not red flags; they're green flags, and I just don't see what we have to lose. If we spend 50 million, I kind of concur what you're saying. I'm not behind the signing for that much, but 30 to 35, I'm in there. I am so
We're definitely not going to spend that much on him. I'll say that.
So, hey, listen, we'll see what happens. I think that the Garnacho deal, to be honest with you, will go down to deadline day. I think it will be a deal that's stretched out because United want to get every penny they can. And I think that they'll ultimately concede. I think that's what will happen. But, hey, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I just want to go back to another point you made as well, Lewis, talking about the defence. We were speaking about the centre-backs with Cole. We can talk about getting a replacement in a second. But before we speak about that, you mentioned that we have, in the defensive aspect, some of the best players in the world in terms of depth.
The midfield.
Oh, so you're not the defense?
No, like fullbacks as well. Yeah, sorry, fullbacks and midfield.
Do you feel like that's a part of like an area in our team that doesn't get talked about enough from opposition fans? Because I don't feel like people have actually spoken that much about Chelsea's fullbacks. It always tends to be the midfield that we talk about. And we appreciate, but I don't really hear many opposition fans talking about. Like, I didn't hear many opposition fans talking about Reece James this season. Gusto,
Cucurella's one of the most hated players in the league.
Cucurella, definitely, I'll give you that. And having Hato as well, I think that's a solid option as a backup.
Yeah, people can't really complain because most of the top 6 clubs wanted Hato at one point. Liverpool wanted him, Arsenal wanted him. I think United did. No, United didn't. They had Dorgu. Might have been Spurs or something. But yeah, there was other clubs that wanted him as well. And the midfield literally just speaks for itself. That's one of the best midfields in the world. And they both have the statement performance, the statement of the performance against PSG. So people can't even say that they haven't seen it. So those areas speak for themselves.
No, I'm with you on that. I do think that our defense, even without Colwell, I think will be fine. I mean, I did see that Anselmino could potentially stay at the club if Maresca thinks that he's good enough. And it does make you think, Lewis, if, God forbid, another player gets injured, and I think we all probably know who that player would be, then you do want to have options. And the only player that it makes sense to go for in this market is Mark Guehi. He's the only player that I'm looking at, and I go, you understand what it means to be Chelsea. You're affordable.
I'm still saying Christensen as well. I'm still throwing that in there.
How old?
We need a centre back because Cole will play centre back in the build up. We need that, and we know how good Christensen was in that role.
And how old is Christensen now?
Probably like 27 or something, 28. Something around that mark. No, it'll depend on the price tag. I think Barcelona's still been trying to sell players to be able to register in the Champions League. So there might be a chance to take a punt on that.
Return of Christensen. I would love to see a reaction to that.
Oh, that would be a celebration stream for the ages, man.
You used to have Christensen in the background. What happened to your Christensen picture?
The AC Penitentiary. We're running out of space. I still need to try and find belt buckles to hang the belt on at times.
You've got to find something for the belt, haven't you? You've got to do something there.
Trust, bro. I'll be wearing that on all the rival streams. That's for
sure. Are you going to bring it to the games?
Nah, fuck that. Fuck that. Keep it in the yard. It can't even be like in sunlight for too long anyway. And imagine if it rained or some shit.
Fuck That's that. True. What about for the Palace game?
Yeah, I ain't bringing it out the yard. That's going to be 26 degrees in the sun. Just going to degrade the fucking metal and everything quicker. Got to keep it in good condition for at least 4 years, innit? I could like research how to like keep it in good condition and everything.
What day is it now?
The 12th?
No, I know that.
Oh, day 30. Day 30 of the 1,461 day reign.
Oh, that's great. That is brilliant. I'll tell you what, I'll be keeping up to date with that one.
Yeah, because I drop it every day on my Twitter anyway.
Dude.
All the way through to 1,461 when we win it all again up the Chelsea.
It's like a Snapchat streak. If you know, you know. It's
exactly.
Been a while. Fucking hell. It's been a long time. But that used to be the thing. So just going back to the defense, I mean, I personally think we're okay, mate. I think we're all right. I don't think we should be scrambling. I know there's a lot of people that are panicking. I understand it. But at the same time, even if we don't get a defense, another centre back, I don't see how that's more of a priority than getting a goalkeeper. If you want to buy a player, it has to be a goalkeeper for me. Now, arguably, you'd say, well, you only need one goalkeeper, and he's probably not going to get injured, whereas the defenders can. But I think that a top goalkeeper will make more of an impact than a cover player. For Colwell until he comes back fit, unless it is Guehi and maybe he forces his way back into the starting 11 permanently, which I think could happen, to be fair. He's better than Tosin. He's better than Fofana because he can stay fit. And then Chalobah, I think that's good competition, but he's probably better than Chalobah as well.
I think Guehi would be a great option for us, but I also agree not to just rush and get somebody that we'd have to try and offload in a year's time because we need to make way for Colwell again. Get the right sort of profile if it's available. And I think we are looking for it. We're just putting out briefings saying that we're not because we don't want to get shagged in the negotiations. But we are actually looking at centre-backs. It's just we know that we got to like sell players in order to be able to register them back into our UCL squads this season. It's part of the fines that we had to pay. Or put on the consequence of that. So I think Vega and Disasi would have to leave first. And then we have to try and find... Then we can be able to go and get a centre-back and put them on the books. But someone's got to go first. It's the same thing with Simmons. Simmons will happen. It's just in limbo because Nkunku or Jackson has to leave. Then it makes the space and puts the finances in for Xavi Simmons to come through. Garnacho is under 23. He's homegrown, so he goes into the UEFA B list. So his finances don't matter in this situation. And that's why he's a much easier transfer to sort out. because that don't matter in terms of the whole registry issue.
Yeah, I think especially when you talk about Vega, I mean, there's been interest from Dortmund because Nicolas Sula, I think he's injured at the moment, so they're looking at getting someone in. But I don't see them paying,
For
they're
fuck
not going to do
negotiating with Dortmund.
this is another thing though, Lewis. Unless it's something to do with registering players for UEFA, and that's the issue. It's like, I know you can't just loan a player; you have to literally get them out of your club in order to re-register someone else. I don't have a problem with a loan because you can do a loan deal for, I don't know, 5-6 million for a season with Vega, and you've basically made your money back on the signing in the first place. So any profit that you sell him for, and let's be honest, he goes on loan for another year. I don't think his value goes down that much. Probably goes up. Hopefully he's going to be fit as well throughout the season. So when I look at it from that perspective, I don't have a big issue with it. But if you're saying, right, we've got to get money in the door now, Dortmund's not going to happen. Atletico, that boat has passed. I just don't see Chelsea negotiating anything lower because I actually think that what we're asking for Vega, which is about 35 million, I think it's fair. I don't think it's taking the piss. I think it's a fair price. It's a young player who's performed in Europe, and he wants to be he's going to be a Portuguese international. So no
Already
issues.
is.
Yeah, exactly. So no issues from me in terms of the way we're negotiating, but I guess the frustration is that we need to move quicker. I would say this, though, which is that throughout the whole window, and we can even go to the pre-window because we had that 10-day period, didn't we? That's when we fucked up on the Magnan deal, and we found out about Petrovic as well. Me and you were fuming at that time. But one thing, you can't say that Chelsea haven't constantly been ticking away. It's like we've had a bit here, we've had a bit there, we've had a bit here, and then you get some updates. But we've constantly been making some progress. We've made a sale every other day, or we've brought someone in. I just don't feel like we've lost the momentum yet. I feel like the momentum is still there, but as with any negotiations, like it takes two to tango, mate. So we're not desperate. We don't need to sell all these players. I mean, from a UEFA point of view, we do, but in terms of our financial situation, we're okay.
We got enough time to get these players off, the players that we need off the books anyway. The
But
only ones I'm concerned about is
we're not trying to sell Sancho or Garnacho. It's different. We don't need to lowball in order to just get rid of them. We can demand high fees because there is genuine interest.
Yeah. At least Vega, I think we might even be offloading him to Wolves. There was an article saying we're getting rid of him and Datro Fofana. That's two names that are gone. Chilwell and Sterling are just the two that you just don't know what's going to happen with them. I think they'll end up just both being loans that we have to firm, and everybody else I think will get off our books in due time. And Kunku, he'll find a club for Bayern or something because he wants to go and leave and he wants more minutes. Jackson wants to go to Newcastle. That'll get done. That's their number one pick for striker anyway. It's all just a matter of time and negotiations, but I think people are just getting like in their feelings because nothing's happened recently and people want some dopamine. It's just impatience. We've had longer sagas than Javi Simmons. We've had what's it called? Caicedo. Nothing happened until like literally a week to on this week 2 years ago is when like he rejected Liverpool and everything. That's how long it dragged for. We had Lukaku or Haaland. Remember the Kai Havertz saga from 2020? That went on for goodness knows how long. But people are just being impatient with Javi Simmons. It's just a matter of time and transfers, and then it'll happen.
Mate, they're big deals, they're big players. Everyone wants to make sure that it's right, and there's always someone who wants to check something before these things, get signed. So I don't have any nerves, mate. I do think that we'll get at least one of the Garnacho and Simmons deals over the line. I wouldn't even be that pissed off, mate, if we missed out on one of them. And that's whether it was Simmons or Garnacho. Obviously, I'd like Simmons. I'd like both, to be honest with you. That's where I stand. I'm not. I'd prefer Simmons. I'd prefer Garnacho. I appreciate Simmons is a better player. I appreciate that. But I think that Garnacho could be equally as valuable for what he brings. in terms of the price that we're paying and low risk. Okay, I don't think we're really risking much with that transfer. But even paying 60 million for Simmons, we could sell him for 80 in a couple of years. You don't see his value going down, especially if you maintain.
I expect him to be one of the players we keep for years.
Oh, well, you hope so, wouldn't you? And to be fair, like we have retained a lot of our best players. Do you know, one of my biggest fears was always that the players that Bowley gave those big contracts to, Clearlake would never, ever renew those contracts because they didn't fit into our wage system, our wage structure. Kukurea was one of them, mate. And then I hear that we're negotiating a new deal with him. And I feel such a sense of relief knowing that actually, you know what? Fair play. Like you have to say, like we have bounced back. It's not even bouncing back, mate. That's the wrong word. We have constantly been on an uptrend, but it's been underwhelming at times. But in the end, we finished the season strongly, and the transfers, it's not like we've held back. We're not playing for 4th or 5th. We look like we're playing to win. I haven't got a problem with that. That's one of the reasons I'm not complaining about the goalkeeper. Because if you were to rate our window out of 10 so far, Lewis, bearing in mind, let's just go through all of the windows we've had, in your lifetime following Chelsea. Where does this rank for you?
Oh, this window?
Yeah.
Don't know so far. I don't know if I could give it a number in all honesty, because like there's so many different variables.
I mean, where we are right now, and bear in mind what we need to achieve for you to go, this is fucking perfect, right?
What we need to achieve, though, that's the thing. A lot of these windows get judged by how their impact is through the season.
No, but again, this is
some
all.
I could talk about the Club World Cup. Some I could talk about how they're good depth for us. But really, you answer that question as the season goes.
Well, come on, Lewis. I'm asking you more black and white than that. I understand your point. I get what you're saying. I'm not asking you to make a prediction on how every player is going to perform and what GA and whatnot. I'm just saying, you on paper. You compare this to other transfer windows that we've had. How does it compare to you? Because for me, it can't be a 10 because of the goalkeeper. That
6.5.
Did you just say 6.5?
6.5 for me.
Fucking
because you still got to get Simmons across the line.
6.5.
Yeah, 6.5 for me. Because you still got to see what happens with Simmons. You still got to get that across the line, and then you get the credit for it.
I think that's harsh, mate.
Because again, a lot of it's also judged by how the season goes. Just doing it off now, like right now,
window, mate. I'm talking about the window to set ourselves up for the season. I'm not talking about how these players are going to play. Again, I'm talking about on paper. These players are FIFA cards. Maybe to be fair, when they're so young, actually, that probably doesn't work out too well. But my point is, I don't remember the last time we set ourselves up in a position since probably, well, we thought when we signed Lukaku, mate, for the second time, we thought he was missing pieces.
Here's my thing. I always thought the squad would be doing well even before the window started. Because like we kind of ended the season on a bit of a cliffhanger. 6 wins in 7. And the only game that we lost, we were still the better team in, even down to 10 men. I wanted to see more from Chelsea as well. And then like we add in the window, and I think we've added well. But I was always expecting good things from this team.
I'd give it an 8 out of 10, mate. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I think we've sold brilliantly.
Get a goalkeeper and you're going to hit those 8s with me. Get a goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper and it's a 10.
Because like ultimately, we all went into this window and said we wanted a goalkeeper. Now, I'm not saying it's been a bad window. I'm not even going close to that. I'm fine with how things have been going.
Brilliant. It's been brilliant.
But close the window first. Close it first. Because there's still a bit more that I want to see. And I believe I'm going to see it too. But it has to happen. Then
you make a good point in terms of watching the players play and judging them throughout the season. I mean, my thought on João Pedro has obviously changed since he's arrived at the club, same as many Chelsea fans. I feel the same way about Delap as I did when he joined. Very happy with that. Asugo, still to be judged. Hato.
I thought people were so harsh with Delap on Friday, by the way.
Mate, do you know what? I'll be honest with you. As much as I love João Pedro, to me, João Pedro just looks at that striker who's going to slot in and do well for you. But There's something about having a big striker with presence, skill, a willingness to be direct and just have a
Just a
crack.
bully.
It's mate, it's so satisfying to watch, man. And
That's the beauty of having both profiles.
100%. And by the way, we could still have that third profile with Jackson, which I'm not against. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of people who say,
yeah, I don't want him to
happy
go.
if we didn't sell him.
Same, like we still have a long season with a lot of minutes after a big season last year. Like we one injury away from like really needing Jackson to still be in the squad. I'd keep him. Like I'm just resigned to him going. And I get there's PRs in the bin after this year. He's had a horrible 2025. We'll call it what it is. I still think there's a great player in that. A player who's not really as refined and can have his bozo moments. Don't get it twisted. He can be an idiot half the time. But there's a quality player in that. And I'd keep him. And like him having to fight for a spot kind of takes him out the spotlight, which I think he needs. So I'd keep him.
Yeah, I think that Jackson thrives when he has competition. I mean, that's what we saw at the beginning of the season. At least we were having a conversation about him and Nkunku, and he was scoring loads of goals. Not that Nkunku was given much of a chance in the end, but there was a period when we thought, right, this is going to be the rotation. It's between him or him. Who's going to start? Maresca ended up just sticking with Jackson the whole time, but West Ham, a number of games, mate, where he was just looked so clinical and confident. So there's no doubt that he is a player that is able to produce. And I see a 10-15 GA, not GA, goal striker every season. And that's without penalties as well, mate. No pens, which I think is really, really impressive. You're not going to get any better than that as a third choice striker.
And the one thing he has over Jackson, is that he don't overtouch. As soon as he gets a sight on goal, that's what I want from our strikers. João Pedro's the same thing as well. He knows when to play make. He knows when to shoot. And he can make that decision very quickly. One of Jackson's biggest weaknesses takes so much time to make his mind up. And like maybe the competition will like help get that out of his game. Because he won't have as many opportunities on the pitch to make decisions. So
I've never been a fan of Jackson breaking down low blocks either. I mean, I'm still yet to see Delap in those positions because obviously he was playing for Ipswich. It's a bit different. But I feel like João Pedro, perfect profile to help us break down low blocks. Yeah. That's going to help complement Neto as well. I mean, we saw that header the other day. Nice cross. Really, really nice goal as well. It just looks so effortless. But you know what's funny, Lewis, is when we talk about counter-attacking as well, mate, Nicholas Jackson has some of the best stats in the league for initiating counter-attacks. And you know who the second best player is after him?
Let me guess. Is it you saying Delap or Palmer?
It is Delap.
Okay, good.
So we have totally different profiles, but at the same time, they're both good at one thing which I think that we needed to improve on last season, which was counter-attacking. But I think, again, it just complements and it gives Maresca options in order to set up in a different way. Like we saw that against PSG, mate. You remember those counter-attacks that the Lap had? Could have easily scored 2 goals.
And that's where the Lap will be at his best. When you got the team coming up chasing a goal, you throw him on. Jackson will give you a little bit of both of them, but he just hasn't got the killer edge of either. And both of them have that. Pedro can play make, and he can. He has the killer instinct in him, and he has a good decision making. Same thing with Delap. All of them are capable of it, but they're just killers. Jackson ain't a killer yet, and he's got to find that within himself. Hopefully at Chelsea, because then Jackson would just be his own little beast we could bring on at the end of games. But we have to see whether he's even a Chelsea player in the next month or so.
Hey, I hope he is, but at the same time, I will celebrate him leaving, not in the sense that I'm desperate for him to go, just the fact that we keep pulling people's pants down and making them give us godly amounts of money for players who just aren't worth it, if I'm honest. I think you can justify...
I think Newcastle will low-key be locking into something good long-term.
No,
Jackson, to me, is baby. He's
a bad player, but I think we're getting a great deal. That's my point.
Oh yeah, we're still getting a good deal out of it. Like we could, it's not a complete loss for us, but we're talking about Newcastle, a team who's going to be building up to be competing in a few years or trying to. I think Jackson will be a striker capable of that within a few years. He's a less refined Isak. Like, he can start counter-attacks. He's a bully in himself. We've seen him bitch Van Dijk, Saliba, Gabriel, all in duels consistently. He's a decent playmaker. He's a decent chance creator. He just needs to refine his game a little bit. And he needs some time away from the spotlight, which I also think Newcastle would give him as well. So,
yeah, I mean, the problem is if you're walking into Newcastle and they're expecting anything near to Isak, that could be a bit weird. Not because the
but Jackson would still be a striker,
higher, but because that position. Like,
but they're not going for the league right now. We're going for the league, and he's not good enough for that. Yeah. Their aim is going to be to get back in the top 4. Well, not get back in the top 4, retain them, keep themselves within the top 4 positions and maintain that. Jackson's good enough for that. He's a capable striker for that. Get him some competition as well. Can't lead the line by himself. We've seen that without any actual competition for himself. But he is a striker that can contribute to a top 4 team. So it's the right move for him. And they're trying to build themselves up slowly, and so is Jackson. And that could be a problem in a few years. But obviously, if we have to worry about a few years, we're not doing our job by then. So
that's true, mate. I mean, speaking of what we're going to do, I mean, in terms of the formation, what we've seen a lot under Maresca is a 4-2-3-1. But it has changed at times. He has tweaked it. What do you make of our lineups going into the season? Do you think we're going to be tweaking our formation or keeping it similar?
Don't know. Not fussed. I'm just excited for the season. I'll be so blunt. I'm so sorry, man. It's just Maresca will tweak anything at any given point.
He is a flexible manager. I've got to give him credit. You know, me and you, we both like Sarri, mate. Sarri was stubborn as fuck. But Maresca is willing to tweak, and we've seen that. And do you know what? I feel comfortable now going into bigger games, knowing that actually we are willing to let our fullbacks overlap at times, and we are able to go long. You know, these are all things that just pisses you off when you do the same thing every week. I remember when Conte was our manager and we finished 5th. Every goal kick was short. It was like, for Christ's sake, man, get it up the pitch. Not that Morata was going to cause many problems, but do you know what I mean? You just want to see some variety at times, and I do feel like again, like any manager, Guardiola's an example. You've got this array of talent. I think that Maresca has shown that he has a willingness to try and use it. Now, whether it works, that's another question. But you're not going to see a guy who basically has the same starting 11 all the time. He is going to take care of the players' fitness as a priority. We saw that with James in the Conference League final. That's why he didn't start. And I haven't got an issue with it in that sense over the course of a season. And I think that we're gonna need it, man. We've got 2 extra European games. We went out early in the Carabao and the FA Cup. That needs to change.
Can't be doing that.
Oh, mate. And then obviously, if you want to compete
for it, like in the Carabao Cup, he treated it like a Conference League game. Even if he was to do that in the Carabao now, the depth of the squad that he'd be utilizing would just be a lot better. Instead of Nkunku and Felix, you're going to be having Andre Santos and Delap. I'm like, yeah, cool. You do that. I'll still be excited.
You're happy to see Santos playing as a 10 at times, as opposed to that.
From what I've heard, he can play all 3 roles. He can play like 6, he can play 8 and 10. So do what you want, Maresca. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the meal. Because that's what it's felt like watching Chelsea, man. You just do whatever the fuck you want. We're going to win anyway.
Here's one for you. Who would you start on the right wing against Crystal Palace? Because although I love Esteval, mate, I would still start Pedro Neto.
Same. Because I think Neto's going to still be able to have those deliveries into João Pedro. There's actually going to be players for him to work with. Plus, we'll have more space to utilize now. Because João Pedro, Jamie Gittins, Cole Palmer, Neto, you can't mark all of them, so you're going to leave somebody exposed. Part of me would think it would be Neto, if anything. And then Esteval off the bench. That's the way forward. Esteval and Delap. That's what I want to see. So, yeah, Pedro Neto starts for me. Especially off the Club World Cup run and everything.
Esteval as well, isn't he? He just, straight away when he comes off, he doesn't look passive, mate. Sometimes players need a couple of minutes to get their rhythm, but
Yep.
straight on, have a shot, straight on, dribbling.
And it's the best way to introduce him to Premier League football.
Right.
Just do it off the bench. And even for Neto, like with the way he's ended the season, the whole Club World Cup run, just wouldn't be right for him to be on the bench first league game of the season. He's got to keep building on that.
Do you know what the Premier League needs players like Esteval? Because there is an argument, mate. I mean, I spoke about this with Kev. I don't watch much Spanish football, I'll be honest with you, but there was a time where Kev said to me, he was like, mate, the Premier League shit. And I went, what do you mean, Kev? What are you on about? And he went, they all fucking do the same thing, sideways, backwards. They all try and play the same way. He went, go and watch a La Liga game, not live, but just watch it on the telly and just watch how intricate and technical they are. Every team does it. And I went, don't know what you're on about, mate. Anyway, it happened to be that night, Barcelona were playing Atletico. It was a really good game. And I think Barcelona won.
Was that the one, the late winner?
I think it was. Yeah. It was a really good game, man. But I was just watching the build-up play. I was watching everything. And as I was watching it, I did think to myself, like, this build-up, you just don't see it in the Premier League. There's a directness to it at times. Again, I don't watch much La Liga, so tell me if I'm wrong for other teams.
I don't watch La Liga either. So
But
you're
just
telling me,
knowing
bro.
that we've got a player like Esteval, it gives me just a breath of fresh air, mate. Like, drive, go forward. Don't be a pussy. There's nothing worse, Lewis, than being on a counter attack and watching a player literally see the run and fucking pass backwards. There's nothing worse in my opinion on a match day. Obviously, take it with a pinch of salt, guys. Obviously, there's worse things, but I believe that Esteval is going to get Stamford Bridge rocking. I do think he'll get off the mark relatively soon, even if it is off the bench. I guess it's just a question of what we value more, whether it's Neto starting consistently, because he is literally turning into a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 every week, or if you want that star factor. But he's such a young player, Esteval. I do want us to be cautious.
Yeah, for me, just like he's the likes of Andre Santos and and Esteval, all of them, just ease them slowly into the team. Use them as the depth pieces that they should be right now. Rotate depending on what the first team's like, but bar that, I'd rest those players and keep them for like when we start seeing more Champions League fixtures, and then we want to rotate depending on what the tougher fixture is that week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't make too much changes to the starting 11. João Pedro, and yeah, for all the new and Gittins, and for the new signings, I think that would just be it for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Gittins for me is one where I liked what I saw in pre-season. Didn't have any issues with it. Do think he looks raw, but he's got balls. Yeah. He's got cojones, and in a lot of ways, I do. He does remind me of Madueke when he first got it, because Madueke was the same. Like, he was having a crack. I remember when we lost. God, was it 3-1?
I think Gittins is a lot more tidier with his dribbling, though.
Yes. But I mean, the intention. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Madueke, I do feel like the more he got on, the less, the less willing he was to sometimes take on players, and he was comfortable passing backwards. Maybe that's part of the system as well. Who knows? But yeah, man, I like the one-on-one aspect.
Probably more in the first season.
He's an exciting player.
I always think the first season, when you're switching to possession-based football, you're going to have that, where they'd rather you just play it safe just to get a better understanding of the system. And you get a lot more risks now.
Well, I hope that's true, man. I really do. But Gittins and Tyreek George for me on that left-hand side. I do think that you need more quality in there. Lewis is just gone. He'll be back in a second. I do think we need more quality in there. And ultimately, that will probably end up being Garnacho, or Xavi Simons could drift over onto the left-hand side if he comes in. He has played as a.
Oh, what the hell happened there? Sorry, bro.
That's all right, mate. I was just saying that we need more quality on that left side. I don't think that Gittins and Tyreek George is going to cut it throughout a whole season for me. And that's where Garnacho or Simmons, one of them, comes in.
Gonna be Garnacho, innit? Just gotta hope it works. Just gotta hope it
Could be
works.
both, Lewis. Let's have some optimism.
No, because I think Simmons would be used more as a 10, if anything.
Yes, I'm not denying that, but he's able to play on the left. He's done it plenty of times.
Oh yeah, he'll be able to. He'll be able to, but I don't think he'll be viewed as one of the main options for that. Might be more emergency, unless he just comes in and randomly cooks.
I mean, Simmons off the top of it, like he basically is like a replacement for João Felix, right? But João Felix, when you actually saw him, you understand why Maresca did what he did with Felix, even though I still think that was harsh. And there were games where, honestly, Palmer should have come off. There was games where Palmer didn't look his best, and I thought, just try something different. It never happened. And that could be because Maresca just didn't fancy Felix, didn't think he could count on him. Simmons just strikes me as someone more reliable and more of a runner as well. There's all this dribbling that you can see, but sometimes you just got to make a run, do the simple things. That's what works well in these systems, and open up space for your teammates or operate in those tight areas. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm really looking forward to it. But all in all, I don't know what to think about this Palace game, man. I mean, they just beat
They're
Liverpool.
going to be hungover as hell, man.
Do you think they've partied that hard after a Community Shield?
For them, like the FA Cup victory is their first ever trophy. They will view this as another trophy. They ain't got much to look back on. So that's definitely. True. You see, Dean Henderson went into one of the nearby pubs, I think, in Palace, and just put £1,000 on the table and just said everyone's getting a free drink. He didn't get waved off his head that night.
Okay, that's true, but do you think it's going to affect them that much? Fucking hell.
Hey, they also might not have Eze or Gehi, depending on how this league goes.
If that's the case, then I feel a lot more confident, mate, especially Eze. Because Gehi, they're going to be difficult to break down. I think we can still do it. Eze, I see them getting past us. I'll be honest with you. I don't see us getting a clean sheet. With or without Colwell, I don't see us getting a clean sheet. I'd see them being able to create something because, Mateta's looking good. Palace play some really sexy football at times, man. I love watching Palace. And I think, do you know what? Here's my prediction. I'll give you it's not a prediction. It's a weird take. If Arteta doesn't cut it at Arsenal, mate, I think Oliver Glasner could get that Arsenal job.
Maybe. I could see that.
I mean, I'm trying to think of another manager in the league that fits into that category. Because Arteta's got to do something this year. I think if he finishes Champions League with nothing else again, I think he's got to go.
If he don't win any sort of trophy, they got to get rid of him. Anything. I think if he even gets a Carabao, they'll probably end up giving him one more year.
Yeah.
You can't really argue it.
I could defend that. I mean, it's still a trophy, mate.
Arsenal fans won't like it because it's 5 years and just one of those. But if he does get that, he will have an argument. Just is what it is.
I think it could happen, mate. I think it could happen. One season in European football, Glasner's not going anywhere now, but I think he's done enough in a short space. I think he's in contention for one of those bigger jobs, mate. But hey, my score prediction, I'm going to go 2-1, Lewis. What about you?
For me, 3-1. 3-1. Go 3-1 Chelsea.
João Pedro on the score sheet, and I'm going to say
Palmer. And I'll say Tosin
on the score sheet as well, mate. Palmer with an assist, Neto with an assist.
I hear that. I'll be a decent shot. I'll go 3-1 though. They'll get a consolation or something.
Hey, listen, appreciate you coming on, Lewis. Thanks so much for your time, mate. Guys, if you've enjoyed the video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Lewis as well. We'll leave his channel down below as well. And listen, we'll catch up very, very soon after the Crystal Palace game. Big up to everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day and up the Chelsea.